because too many people are going with AI is great. I need AI. Everybody that wants to sell you something AI, they're just selling you a buzz term.
Yeah.
Because you might not need AI. For me, I use AI. I use 2 or 3 different AIs all day, every day.
Okay.
But it makes sense for me. And it's speeding my processes up of what I'm doing in my research, that kind of stuff. The average person might not have a reason to use AI that much, but there's usually something in your business that would be the first goal of the exercise is to go look at what's going on in your business, that you could save a lot of time.
What's up, Camden County? You are catching episode 110 of the Get In Your Business podcast. I'm your host, Alison Shores with the Camden County Chamber of Commerce. This Get In Your Business podcast is made possible by our Chairman Circle sponsors, Georgia's Own Credit Union, Lockheed, Comcast, Georgia Power Company, Sparklight, Plug Power, St. Mary's DDA, TDS Telecom, and Ameris Bank. Thank you to all of our sponsors. All right, we are about to learn a whole lot today, guys, and I'm so excited. Today in the studio, I have Coastal Computer Consulting. Adam, thank you for joining us today. We're going to learn some stuff.
I hope I can be the answers that you need.
I'm kind of a little afraid of some of your answers, to be honest. I feel like we could be here all day, and I might learn some stuff I probably don't want to know, and then a lot of stuff I need to know. So let's get started. So how long have you, first and foremost, how long have you had Coastal Computer Consulting?
So we are 18 years old. We started in 2008 in January. So we're working on our 19th in January. So yeah.
Oh, man. So things have changed since you started. I feel like technology and stuff, it's always changing.
Yeah, for sure. And I've actually been in IT for 30 plus years. So
30 years.
I started before 99. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
I've seen a lot.
Yeah, you have seen a lot. So what do you feel like? I have a lot of questions, first of all, and I want to get through these, but I need everybody to understand I'm going to read some of these questions. Normally I don't do that, but I have to read today because this is a topic that I'm a little, I don't want to misspeak on. So I'm going to ask a lot of these questions. So tell me, what do you feel like modern computer solutions look like today compared like with a decade ago, specifically for our small businesses or maybe even mid-sized businesses?
I would say that more and more businesses in today's world are going more to an iPad or a tablet. That's probably the biggest change. And it's one of the things when I talk in a lot of my speeches that I do, I have the FBI photo of the first time the Pope was announced, and it was I think it was like 2008 or something like that, and everybody's waiting for the smoke to come out, and it comes out, and they're the same shots, and the first shot has nobody in it with a phone. 10 years later, they have the same shot, and it's a sea of blue phones videotaping it. So I would say that that's probably been the biggest change, I would say, in the market that I see. I mean, look at point of sale systems in most restaurants and stuff like that today. They used to all have to be a computer, and now most of them are just iPads, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about iPads coming on the scene. But yeah, most of my businesses, that's what they're using, the little terminals that are iPads.
You're seeing that because they can actually do just about everything. I mean, my iPad is just as powerful as my Mac and more powerful than a lot of people's PCs. Wow. The processor and everything in it, you can, and with everybody moving to the cloud, I would say that's another big one in the last 10 years. Everybody now doesn't store data on a local server. They're storing it in Azure or OneDrive or iCloud. So I think you're seeing a lot of that movement too, where everybody goes to the cloud and allows you to actually work everywhere, and you don't need VPNs and all this hard stuff to work.
When you say the cloud, I'm one of those people. I'm old. So when you say the cloud, I was like, where is this cloud? Where is it going? How do I know it's there? I need to look in on it occasionally, make sure everything's still there. Like, where's this cloud? So I think it's so, we've gone all kinds of places with technology. I feel like a lot of my businesses probably don't really use managed IT. I feel like we've been so conditioned just to call somebody when the computer breaks. And I've seen, in some of my businesses, this problem could have been maybe not even have happened or prevented, I guess, if we could have just, if we had somebody looking at this along and along. So I want to talk about what is managed IT.
So again, like I said, having been actually a consultant for 30 plus years, there was nothing ever called managed IT up until it's become a term probably in the last decade or so.
Yeah.
But we used to call it break fix, for lack of a better word. And people would, and currently that's actually what I tell people when they call me and go with, hey, what are your services? And we don't offer break fix. The number one reason is because you can't keep up with the machine. And there are so many security risks and things happening every day. To me, a successful client is one that never calls me. Now, on the other hand, they might be like, well, why am I paying for this?
Yeah.
Because I never have to call them. But one of the things in managed services is, unlike traditional time and materials, you don't get billed by the hour. So you call me and say, hey, I've got a problem. If it takes me 10 hours to fix, you're not getting an extra bill. You know what your bill is going to be. But more than half of what we provide in that managed service agreement is software to protect you. So we're putting in, I hate saying antivirus, but I try to keep it as simple as I can. Most people would call it like an antivirus, but it's really known as an EDR, which is endpoint detection and response, for people that don't know. But we layer a whole bunch of security in there so that you don't accidentally hurt yourself surfing the web and clicking on a bad link or something like that and causing all sorts of outages. So we are a high security firm, and we do a lot of protection to make sure that you don't hurt yourself that way, or your employee doesn't just randomly click something and go, well, now we're all down and we can't work.
I was going to ask that question. Like, what happens when an employee does click one of those things?
It's going to depend on what you have. If you are one that does not have a managed service contract, so we actually do have this happen quite frequently.
I bet.
And the number one thing for us that we see is, if it's a phishing expedition to get which is known as credential harvesting, which we see a lot of. You click on a link and then it looks like it's Microsoft or FedEx or whatever, and you put in your email and your password. They immediately are hitting and going after that password, and without the extra layers of security. So I've had well-educated clients. I mean, I'm not talking about like their career or anything, but educated on don't click them.
Yes.
And then they call and freak out and go, oh, I just clicked on it. And I'm like, it's not a big deal. You have all the security, but we see, usually it takes about 20 seconds or less. Once that password's been entered, and we will see them hit Microsoft immediately with that password and try to break in.
Wow.
So without the protections that we offer, and I mean, there are other people that offer it, but obviously we offer it too. Without those protections, people are in your email immediately and you don't even know it.
Well, I feel like too, you said something earlier about layered security. So I feel like you're not just one antivirus, for lack of a better word. You're layered it. So I feel like when people can just go in and say, oh, I have this antivirus system on my computer that they purchased for $69.99 a year or whatever it is, I'm going to go on a branch out and just say that it's probably not layered. It probably just, it'll secure you against this.
Yes, exactly. Well, and so that is our approach. We are, like I tell everybody, we're like an onion. We have multiple layers. Every one of my layers should, in theory, stop that attack. But they don't all. You need all the different layers, and
that is crazy.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. One of the products we use, I've seen the CEO talk about it quite often, and back when you're talking about what the difference is in the years, right? Back in the 80s, 90s, you would just go buy antivirus, because there was no internet really to download all this stuff, and you bought a little disk and put it in your machine, and that was. But ironically, you were getting the viruses from the manufacturers sending you the stuff anyway. So, and that's how antivirus, and then everybody remembers the good old adware.
Yeah.
All the pop-ups of go buy here, go do this. And so, but it's changed. So we actually, we get to such a level that we call it zero trust. And in that zero trust, you cannot install anything on your machine without approval. And that is one of the number one. So when we're talking about what happens when I click on that link, right? I've had a client call me before and say, well, I've had multiples, but the one I'm thinking about called me and said, I just clicked on this thing. I just infected myself with ransomware. I said, no, you didn't. And really logged into my console and just said, not allowed, not allowed, not allowed, not allowed. And
done.
There was no attack. So, and we've had, in this year, we've had 2 or 3 real near hits, and all of them involved what I like to call alphabet soup. And thank God I don't have to deal with alphabet soup very often, but the last 3 that I've had to report They all turned around and said, "You have everything you needed. We don't need that. We're not even investigating this." They didn't get anywhere. They didn't do anything.
Huh.
So it is one of those things that people, if you don't have that kind of layered security, you're going to be in a different ballpark. And I've been through the worst, and I don't want to go through them again. So we throw as much as we can at everything.
Yeah. Now, what would you say to people like that have maybe an IT team, but maybe it makes sense, I don't know, like to have a managed, IT? Because I just feel like some people will be like, oh, we have our IT team here. Da, da, da. When does it still make sense to have you guys?
Well, so that is a service that we offer that's called co-managed, and we have several of those co-managed clients. So they have internal IT teams. But what most people don't understand is, yes, I have an IT team, but the things my teams and I see, we do sometimes monthly, weekly, or several times a year, where they might do it once in a lifetime. So when it comes to that kind of stuff, it makes more sense to have the people that do it all the time help you and do that kind of stuff. In a co-managed environment, we don't actually, for lack of a better word, control the environment. We are there to assist and let the internal IT do it. A lot of internal IT people are scared of having a co-managed come in because they're like, oh, you're going to take my job. We're not there to take your job. We don't want your job. We want to help you. And the other piece of that puzzle is it also comes down to the security. You're still going to have to buy all that security software. Somebody's going to still have to manage it. Somebody's still going to have to understand how to run it and maintain it. And the stuff, when I'm talking about zero trust, not all of my team gets access to that software because it takes months to learn.
Yeah.
And if you're just going to try to run it in and put it in yourself, and you can buy, a lot of people can buy these products, but they don't know how to operate them. And that's half the battle. So that's where really we come in a co-managed environment, and we actually do some, like I said, we do some really advanced stuff that most people just don't do and don't know how to do. I mean, we've designed, and we're still implementing, we designed a very large project that is over 20 miles of fiber in the ground. We're running ISP equipment in it. We're doing VPNs in there. We're doing really large scale with this. And that's where people don't understand. The average bear does not know how to do that.
No.
So, we do a lot.
I know for us, knowing what you need and being able to trust somebody to come in and not oversell you on all these 20,000 different products, because technology is one of those things that if you don't know and you're not plugged into it, you just don't know. And I think for me, I didn't grow up with technology. I grew up playing Oregon Trail. That was about all the technology I got, So for me, that is a world I don't even want to touch. My brain cannot process how all of the technology actually works. So for me, it's very scary and not knowing. I think, I have an IT department. I've got everything I need. I have this software. I have everything I need. But in the 90s, that may have been true. But I don't know that for me, I've actually gone for, I love having all these things and tools that I can use, but to fully understand exactly how at risk we really are. Because the spam and all this stuff, it's not going away.
It's actually getting much worse.
Way worse.
And that, of course, you hit one thing that I think is very important that you said is you have to be able to trust the person. And we believe a relationship first.
Yes.
And I've told lots of people, I'm not the right person for you, or, I'm just trying to explain to you. And I think it's really important, whoever you're using, that you're making sure that they're explaining it to you and not trying to talk over your head. The minute they start talking over your head, then you get into the concern where you're saying, hey, they're overselling me something that I don't need. So that's why our services are flat rate, because if I need more tools to protect you, you honestly don't care what tools I'm using.
Right.
You just want to know you're protected.
Yeah.
And I've had this conversation with a lot of people that I start talking, their eyes glaze over, and I said, just leave the tools to me. I'll take care of the security. And I'll give you the updates on how it went. And that's the way we do it. Well,
I want to say you and your team have been so great about coming in and getting involved with our chamber and letting our chamber members know. Y'all keep, you sponsored our power lunch and our coffee and commerce and really trying to let businesses know, hey, I'm here for you. Like, let's talk, let's sit down, get to know us. And, people, I'm just glad that you guys are doing that. And it has been
And it's been a fantastic reception as we've gone more and more. We've gotten those conversations where we're not selling you anything.
Yeah.
If you want something, I'm more than happy to help you, but I'm also more than happy to just discuss it with you and tell you, hey, if somebody's telling you something, I'll tell you if that's true or not.
Yeah.
And you don't need to be shopping with me, but at least get that second opinion. I mean, how many people tell you I'm not a mechanic, and
Right.
how many times do they say,
Yeah.
go get a second opinion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, sticking with cybersecurity for just a few more minutes, because y'all do way more than just that. I want to talk about like any mistakes that you see right now that small businesses are making with their cybersecurity. Like,
I think the biggest mistake is people don't. Well, number one, ironically, the best advice I can always give somebody. A lot of times you see these, and we see it all the time, where somebody's saying, "Hey, stop! You're used to paying me this way, but my new bank account is this, and send it here."
that's a thing?
I believe me, I've seen it a lot of times, and people end up going, "Oh, okay," and it's an email,
right?
Because your vendor got compromised, not you.
Yeah.
And so the person's faking saying, "Send the email or send the money now here," instead of where you normally do. And the number one thing I can tell you is pick up the phone. It's so easy. If somebody's saying, "Change my bank account, change how you pay me," pick up the phone and talk to the person that you know there and say, "Did you really send this?" It'll save you money and it'll save them money. And I can tell you the number of times I've seen large transactions go missing, and who's out that money because they were compromised.
And I've seen some where it even happened with us years and years ago, but it sounded like it was coming from me, and it was like, "Hey, I need you to buy these Google Ad Play cards or something."
Yep.
I don't even know if that's what you call them, but that was what it was. And they did it like $500 worth, and then give me the codes. And they did it because the email address, like there was only probably 4 letters that were different that you wouldn't have caught. And I was just like, what?
Yeah. So
and you can't get that back.
Right.
Like that's done
Yeah,
once you've given them the codes.
Yeah.
Like, it's just stuff like that. I'm like, what?
Yeah. So when you're saying what is the number one thing, I think the number one thing is they're not protecting email like they should. Everybody thinks, hey, it's great. And I see a lot of people that have like a Comcast email address or an AT&T or Gmail.
Mm-hmm.
It's very nominal to register your own domain name. Get your own domain name so you can control and you can protect it yourself, because Comcast, all the tools I have will not work on any of those because I don't control that domain name.
Wow.
So I tell people that because one of the number one breaches all the time is what's known as a business email compromise. And that if you don't actually control your email and can protect it, exactly the story we're talking about now of I'm going to send the money the wrong place, or somebody faked it, or your domain name. I literally have something like 30 different variations of my domain name because you can change one letter in all of them. You can change the L to an I and make it look like it's use a capital I and it'll look like an L. So you have to change all those letters and make sure that you have them just to make sure that somebody's not faking your domain name.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah. It costs some money too.
Yes. And I think that's what I want people to know. It costs so much more money to fix some of this stuff. And in some cases, you can't even recover everything that you need to. And so I think it's very important to protect yourselves. And this is just a way to do that along. Somebody that's always got your back. You don't have to pay attention as much to that stuff, not that you wouldn't pay attention, but, it doesn't have to be. You've got a business to run, is the way I feel. Is like I'm going. The last thing I have time to do is like stop and be like, wait, did I get compromised? Did this happen? Did this happen? And I think having somebody that's always got your back,
But you got to remember, it's not just you; it's all the employees too.
Oh yeah.
So you have to worry about yourself, and then as a manager or an owner, you have to worry about what your employees are doing, and if they do something like that, then. And nobody's looking at it because the software we use looks at inbound and outbound. So you send an email, we know if you suddenly spam a whole bunch of things that doesn't look right, we're getting an alert and shutting your email down.
And you said something earlier, and I just want to point this out for people because it doesn't matter if you've done the training on how not to do this. Like, hey, don't click on this. Hey, if anything, there's training out there, and I have seen it time and time again. Doesn't matter how much training you have. It only takes one time.
That's right.
And to be fooled and accidentally click on something or get in a hurry and click on something. So, I know people are like, oh, oh, well, we do the training for that. No, it still only takes one time, and I've seen it over and over again.
And that is part of our services, is that if you have your own domain name and that kind of stuff, we fish test you to prove that to see if we can get you to click on something.
Oh.
And then if you do click on it, you will immediately get an email with a remediation training on why and what you clicked on specifically to you. So it's not like so when we test your environment, we don't test just with the same email to everybody. It's a different email to everybody in a different type, a different attack that we're going with. So everybody gets that. Plus, on top of that, we do trainings that we have right now, I think 36 different videos that are about 3 minutes long. That most people do them in once a month, and everybody needs to do it. And it's a 3-minute video with questions to make sure you paid attention and talk about it. But it talks about business email compromise is one. We have AI, social engineering, the way they do that kind of stuff. So all of those things that you're talking about, yes, you can take one thing, and education is the number one way to stop all this stuff, is educate your people.
But not just one time. I think having it like the once a month thing, keeping it always in the forefront of your brain. You know?
And because things keep changing. I mean, it's not like we said, it's not like the old day. Just don't click on that one link. Now you have like 30 different ways you can be attacked. So those educations are constantly changing as to what they are.
Now, you brought up AI. So as far as the world of AI, how can like a small business use AI right now, as far as saving time, improving service, or making better decisions? In what ways shouldn't they use AI?
Ooh. So that's a nice loaded question.
You're welcome.
And the reason I like that loaded question is I've been talking about AI for I've been doing webinars or in-person lunch and learns and stuff for probably 2.5, 3 years.
Okay.
And we have now pivoted on what we're doing. It is, and it's interesting because I'm getting these same exact conversations you're having, your question you're having me, and our newest one that we just did. We have a sheet that we go through an actual exercise.
Okay.
With everybody in the room, and the idea is take the word AI out of everything. What is it that would actually make it better for you? What is the problem? Because too many people are going with AI is great. I need AI. Everybody that wants to sell you something AI, they're just selling you a buzz term.
Yeah.
Because you might not need AI. For me, I use AI. I use 2 or 3 different AIs all day, every day.
Okay.
But it makes sense for me. And it's speeding my processes up of what I'm doing in my research, that kind of stuff. The average person might not have a reason to use AI that much, but there's usually something in your business that would be the first goal of the exercise is to go look at what's going on in your business, that you could save a lot of time. And then you put it through a couple of tests to say, does AI make sense here, and what kind of AI? Before you just go and jump. And I actually had somebody call me and say, hey, I want to hire you. Would you help me write this gem? And for Gemini, I just need one. And I said, for what? He said, I don't know. I just saw this great webinar, and it was the coolest thing I ever saw. I said, great. What are you going to do with it? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
And he said, I don't know. It just looked like something. And so when we were talking about, don't get sold something you don't need.
Yes.
I talked him out of the sale and said, you don't need me. You need to figure out first, does it make sense? AI is just such a buzzword in everything you have. It
is.
So I think we're seeing a lot in the industry, a lot of people that are backing away from saying AI is the answer. Now, I can tell you the one I love the most, there are the otters, the fireflies, all of those kind of ones. And if people don't know what those are, look them up. They're great. They record your conversations. They give you a history of the whole conversation. You can go back and search for, I know we talked about this somewhere in the meeting. What was it? So I don't take meeting notes ever because I have Otter listening. And Otter listens to everything I'm talking about and gives me the high level, my to-do list after the call or the meeting, whichever it is. So it's kind of weird. I walk in with people and I'm here with my iPad and I'm not typing, and I have to tell people it's listening. Don't worry. All the notes are being taken.
I'm going to do my work. I promise.
But it makes you much more functional. Absolutely. Because you're not busy trying to write down the notes. You're really paying attention and listening to the person. And then you can go back and get the information you need from that conversation. So those are that's a good example of something that almost every business can use.
Yes.
And you don't need anything special. You don't need any training. It plugs right into everything. So it's plugged into my calendar. So when I show up at a meeting, I just have to say, I want to record this meeting. The only thing that I warn is if you're in government in any way, shape, or form, state or local, you might not be able to you might be unallowed to use it. We have we have 2 pseudo governments, and they are, one is not allowed to use it because they have to follow Georgia Technology Authority's recommendations, and the other doesn't have to follow them. So they use it all the time.
Right.
And actually, they implemented it into their entire organization. They happen to be one of my co-managed clients, and they saw me 2.5 years in May ago speak about that and demonstrate it.
Wow.
They went right back to the office and they bought it for everybody.
Yeah.
The whole entire building got it that same day. So it's one of those things that that's one that is a very functional AI. But when you get into AI, the other big piece of AI is you have to know what your employees are doing with it. And so they call it shadow AI, and trying to figure out what they're doing. First thing that somebody needs to do is get a policy written about what is acceptable for AI. Are you allowed to use it? When are you allowed to use it? What are you allowed to use it for? And that way it's kind of like back in the day. Remember when social media got really popular and everybody's like, block social media from the office. Nobody can have social media.
Yeah.
And oh, he's using social media. He shouldn't use social media. It's a similar situation. And then everybody realized, oh, wait, we need social media for marketing. So well, open it all back up.
Right.
But there are good uses of AI. But the number one thing that people don't realize is they're uploading data that they shouldn't be uploading.
That was my next question.
So you need to be very careful about what you're giving it.
What information, like employee information, what shouldn't they be putting into AI? Some of it is, like don't put social security numbers, I'm assuming, but what other information?
So for me, when we use it, we don't say, so if it's helping me write a proposal or doing data analysis of any type, we actually do a cleanse on the data first so that it can't be traced back to who it is and what it is. You don't want any of that data up there. In the paid models, they're not supposed to be keeping that data. It's not supposed to be used for training, but that doesn't mean that that's not happening. And we've seen many things. I mean, last August, you had 2 of the big ones, Grok and OpenAI, got hacked, and they had turned on a chat feature that you could go search. However, it leaked it so everybody could search your chats. So
oh good.
Yeah. So ChatGPT, OpenAI, they immediately closed theirs. Grok took some time to close theirs down. So don't tell it anything you don't want anybody to know and not be public record type thing, because that's where you have to be careful. But it works fantastic for people that don't have a marketing company, using one of them to talk or to make responses on social media to people and make you sound, not just, it makes you sound like you're much more interested maybe than you are, but it gets you involved, and it's a good way to respond back and forth with people as far as social media interactions go. Rather than just posting something bland, you could post something more specific. But that I wouldn't be worried about.
Yeah.
Because, that's all public.
And I feel like most people around, what I'm around, when they think AI, they think of like ChatGPT and just making a flyer. That helps a lot of my businesses out. But I think, it goes way past all of that. There's so many other, it's not just ChatGPT and Gemini. There's so many that you can, so many different paths to AI that may not be just making flyers, or, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure. So like we use one that's called Murph, and that is text to voice.
Oh, wow.
So our entire auto attendants, everything, all of everybody's voicemails on our phone system are all the same voice.
Okay.
It does not sound like a computer. She sounds real.
Yeah.
There's hundreds of voices to pick from. So we kind of made it more in our realm, and you can make them happy. You can make them moderate, monotone, whatever.
Wow.
And in fact, we have a big system we're replacing right now, and had a meeting with them, and they said, I need 90 different people to record their voicemail messages. I said, what? I might have a solution.
What? Yeah.
So we are actually going to be recording them like we do us, and they will pick a voice and then it'll be done. But so that's a good example of an AI that can save you a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then so like I love it because now when we have the holidays coming up and we have to put in or when we're out, it's the same voice. And we can say the specific day, like Friday, December 21st or whatever, and we can say specific days that we're closed and open. And so knock on wood, we don't have any hurricanes this year, but if we do, I can turn around and say, because of Hurricane Bertha, we are closed, or whatever. And it'll sound like just normal. And like I said, it's a very good voice and it's very inexpensive to use, but that's another one. And they do photo ones too. You can, I don't want to tell photographers that you don't have to do them anymore. But it's pretty cheap. You can use it.
But I think it's just so cool. And I think for, like I said, a lot of our businesses and even me, I don't dabble so much in all this stuff. I mean, as it comes out, I kind of see, or if my friends get into it, that's kind of how but in business, I think it can be so useful. And I encourage people to kind of look into it. Contact you guys if you have some questions on what we can make what you can use AI for to help make life, easier, save you money, time.
Well, and that's it, right? Because what I've been, in the years I've been talking about it, that's the number one thing I tell people, just go out and use it.
Yeah.
Just play with it. See what happens.
Yeah.
Right now, Claude is probably one of the best ones out there.
Claude.
Claude is fantastic. And like you're saying, just ask it to generate you a slideshow or a business presentation. I have written incredible proposals with them because it can go out and find like the fiber project I was telling you about. It's a municipality, and I turned around and said, find me every municipality in Georgia, just Georgia.
Just Georgia. Okay.
About this size with this investment and what their ROI was and when it started, when it finished, and how long to the return on investment. And it came back with, well, it took a couple minutes, but a normal, like for my process, if I was going to do that, just looking for Georgia and Googling that stuff, I've been there for days.
I was about to say, but I don't know. I think with all this, especially when social media came out, everybody, I think, was slow to like, oh, we've got to have a social media policy. What about AI? What kind of AI policies? How do businesses create like any kind of
that was everybody was slow, and everybody's slower with AI, and the problem is AI is moving 10 times faster than social media. So people I mean, ironically, you can use AI to generate you an AI. But it really is what's acceptable, and that's what you have to look at. Is it acceptable for? I mean, if the person was doing what normally took them all week to do, and they can do it in 4 hours, is that okay? Should they be doing something else above and beyond that? And that's the other piece that everybody goes with. AI is going to replace us all. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's going to enhance you. And the other piece is also in a policy and discussion with your employees is, what is your job? We see so many in my last one. I have in my slide deck, I have a bunch of slides of people going to Claude. I just happen to be watching the Claude community, so I have a ton of slides that show everybody that doesn't have any business in the realm that they're trying to be. And so AI is not going to make me a heart surgeon tomorrow morning. It probably is not going to make you a pilot. And
it will not.
So, it's one of those things. Don't ask it things that you don't comprehend and can work with it, because it's not going to make you an IT person tomorrow morning any more than it's going to make me a heart surgeon. So I tell people, stay in your lane, because when you get the responses, you have to be able to know whether AI is lying to you or not, and if it's true or not. So if you can't comprehend the difference of what you're talking about or what it's telling you, you probably could be getting some very bad information and not too smart sending it out. Yeah.
Man, we have covered a lot. I have learned a whole lot today. All right, so let's switch over to like security cameras. What is the biggest mistake even homeowners make when choosing or installing, security cameras and stuff, and businesses?
Well, security cameras, ironically, seem to be one of the things that I think people look at last, kind of like the rest of their network infrastructure. We bought the cameras 10 years ago. They're still good, right? That the camera quality is way better now. I mean, how many of us have seen video footage of a robbery or something going bad and it's horrible, grainy, and okay, well, they have the 80s camera, they didn't buy the new one. I think that's one problem. I think a lot of people look at so there's a bunch of issues because you can be sold just a cloud only camera.
There's that cloud.
Yeah, so we can record everything into the cloud for you. Okay, well, what happens when the internet's down and you're getting robbed? You're not getting any video coverage. You're not you're not recording it. So I think looking at what the solution really is and what it's intended to know. I've had clients come to me and they want to videotape or have footage of a gate, an entrance gate.
Mm-hmm.
Most cameras will not catch an actual license plate. There's a specially designed camera for a license plate because infrared will reflect and make it all white, so you won't actually be able to read the license plate. So
all things I would never think about.
Right.
Or
so
no.
What are you trying to cover? I stay pretty clear out of this realm because I don't want to get sued.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, knowing what you're looking for and what you're trying to cover, like what is going to be enough, and that's why I said those conversations need to be had. A lot of people want to do a wireless. Wireless, if your access point goes down, you're not recording anymore.
Yeah.
So hardwired is going to be better, but most of them, the traditional ones were. I don't want to get too technical, but kind of like a cable TV type connection used to be what it is now. Now they're actually network cables. So that allows them to get to the internet and stuff like that. And the other piece is when you plug in the recording device, if you actually get one that has, like you're storing recording locally, a good idea would be to change the password.
Yeah.
So you think it comes without saying, right? But
right.
how many people leave the default password? So now you expose that to the internet and everybody can see and log in and watch what you're watching.
So is it better to have like the Wi-Fi cameras or like professionally installed hardware, like systems or hardwired? You know what I'm saying? Like, ugh.
Interestingly enough, I probably a long time ago would have probably said all professional. But again, it depends on what you need, right? So if you're not really that concerned with, you're probably not in a high break-in area or something like that you're really that worried about. You just want to kind of know what's going on. Ring cameras are fantastic. You can get them and they're great. And there's another brand called Wise. You can go to Home Depot, Walmart, anywhere and buy those, and they're like $30.
Yeah.
And then you just put a little memory card in them, and the memory is stored locally. So you have to log into that camera, and it'll just overwrite itself as time goes on, and you plug it in and forget it. Now that's not going to be my number one defense
right.
against a break-in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what your actual goal. I mean, I wouldn't say a bank go buy Wise cameras. Let's put it that way.
Right.
But if you're just trying to monitor what's going on in the office and just see some basic things, I think some of those less expensive solutions are just as easy as paying somebody because you can pop one up on the ceiling and have it recording in minutes, and it doesn't require anybody really smart to do anything. Just plug it in.
Yeah.
I mean, my house has got tons of these things because they're great. The Ring camera, I can tell if somebody's coming up to my door, to my back door, and doesn't need to be professional anymore.
Yeah, and some of there, I think a lot of people think they just record all the time, and that's not necessarily the case. You can pay for them you can pay extra for them to, record all the time, but otherwise it's motion. Yeah. And what if it doesn't catch the motion? Because that has happened.
Yeah, well, so on the Rings in particular, because I have one in my backyard, one in my front yard, and you have to set the sensitivity.
Yep.
And the other piece you have to realize on those, so one of mine is an actual battery powered one. Actually, both of them are battery powered, but my front door takes 3 months to run out of battery. My backyard will run out in 48 hours. Because
going on in that backyard?
Yeah.
Okay.
It backs up to a golf course. So first going.
Gotcha. Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. So because it is, and that the sensitivity is turned way up on the backyard.
Gotcha.
Compared to the front, and there's not much traffic coming through the front, but that shows you. But yes, you have to tweak it. So when you ask the question, professional or not professional, how much time do you want to spend?
Right. Okay.
Tweaking it.
That's fair.
And if you don't want to spend the time to tweak it, then hire a professional.
Yeah. Man, I feel like everybody's in on the cameras these days, not knowing what to. You got the flock cameras, we got the Ring cameras, we got these cameras, and everybody wants to know. What are you recording? What's happening? What, all the things. And, man.
Well, it's kind of funny when you say that, right? Because Ring has you can join the community.
Yeah.
And then you can see all your neighbors' cameras.
Yeah. And so,
no thanks.
right? Like I don't think I need to see that.
Yeah.
But there's lots of crazy conversations being had about, how much information all these cameras are taking in, even from Ring. I mean, it doesn't matter what camera you're talking about as far as out in public or that can record you at any time.
Well, it's that, and I mean, again, going back to my FBI slides,
Yeah.
one of them was about Ring being hacked. A lot of people probably have now forgotten about Ring being hacked, but it was a bunch of 16-year-olds that hacked Ring.
Yeah.
Then they didn't even know each other. There were 3 of them in different parts of the country.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're talking about what all is being recorded, that's a good question. What all is being recorded and who can see it and when it gets breached, what are they going to know?
Yeah.
And like we were talking about a little bit before, the Shark little robot vacuum, it's just gotten breached. Yeah. And your neighbor, you might patch yours, but your neighbor didn't, and now they can get to your stuff, and they have cameras on them. They're mapping.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
You can do everything and still, I mean, so you just have to be careful with all this stuff and use your judgment, but also have people in your life that know these things and can help you, kind of navigate it, because that I guess that's the point with this whole podcast I want to make is that, all these things are scary, and it's so much information, and it's constantly changing. And if you never had a grasp on it before, 30 years later, it's changed so much. I just invite people to get curious and call you guys, because y'all have been so great at answering any question. Like, you're like, well, this is what I do. This is what I think, and it's, having somebody that'll break it down for you without making you feel stupid.
Well, and that's what we hope for. That is the goal, right? And like you're talking about, there's so many things that are changing.
So many.
And we are more than happy to answer any question we can, and give the advice, like you said, about the cameras. I mean, who thinks about cameras in your house, or what's listening, what's not listening, what's recording, right. Where is the data going? Yeah. That's when you asked earlier to begin with, why do I need managed service? Yeah. Because those are the things that we're dealing with every day.
Well, too, I want you to tell people, we've kind of covered some, but like some of the services and products that you guys have that we haven't talked about today.
Ironically, it's very simple. We're managed service, co-managed projects, and that's it. We don't have any other products we sell. We don't sell you anything that, like I said, when we sell you a managed or a co-managed, it comes with all of our stuff. You get it all. We do offer just buying our security kit, but then you're probably going to need somebody that knows how to manage it. So
right.
So you're going to be back at square one. But for us, we keep it very simple. And like I said, all of our services come with unlimited support. So there's no question about how long it's going to take. We earlier this year did our evaluated the last 12 months. We actually resolved most tickets within a day across all of our client base. We did this analysis, and we actually, from the minute you open to the day it's done, is 24 hours, which is about 4 times faster than most in the business, and that is because most people get the ticket and don't work it for at least a day. We're completing the ticket within a day.
I love that. And, something, I have experiences, having to pay for it hourly, like,
and then you don't know what you're going to get.
Call in when it breaks or when something's wrong, or the whole 9 yards with that. But you guys have flat rate. It's just, this is what you pay. These are the services you get, and that's it. You can call us when you need to call us. We'll help when you need to help. And, I love that about you.
Well, and that's one of the things we actually encourage. Well, we kind of try to require it, but you can't force somebody, right? But part of our services include a monthly meeting to go through your IT and what's going on. We try to actually push for at least a quarter, every quarter we're talking, so we can say, hey, coming down the road, and I don't want to run us out of time, but the other piece a lot of people don't know is hardware is going through the roof in cost. So we have seen doubling of prices since January. And I've had two clients actually had their brand new servers quoted at the end of the year last year, and at like literally the last week of December. And by the time we got to now, they're double. They went from 10,000 to 20,000 and 20,000 to 50,000. Respectively on those clients. So that's a trend that's going to go through 2028, and that's because of all the AI buying all the hardware, and you can't get it. So you're used to going, hey, I'm just going to go buy a laptop and get it from Dell right away. No, there's long shipping
Really?
delays. Yeah,
Wow.
because we're waiting for the hardware.
I didn't know
So
that.
but that'd be one of those things we would talk to you about in one of those meetings, going, hey, we know this machine's getting older. Let's start planning. And I've actually had those conversations saying to clients, might not be a bad idea to buy it now, because in 6 months, it's going to be double the price.
Wow.
And so if it's in the budget, let's do it now. Otherwise, we'll budget. And that's another piece we help with, is that budgeting. But that's one of the things we like to encourage, that comes with the service. Use it. Call us.
Yeah.
We want to talk.
That is so cool. Y'all do so much. And I love that. I love having a meeting and being able to talk. And that's
Well, and helps you plan. So you know what you're coming up against.
and it helps you like talk through what you're doing, whether you're having to tell your board or tell, whatever you have to do. It helps those things. And you can ask questions. And I love that, because I'm going to tell you my experience over not even being in Camden, but just, other places. IT is hard. And if you don't know anything and you're not plugged in with your person, or your company, and even if you are, sometimes companies aren't the best. You still, like you said, you wait and you wait and you wait till when they can get around to it, or they tell you to try X, Y, and Z. I love the fact that y'all are just committed to being different, and I love it so much.
And that's because we know we're a service business, and we believe highly in. I've been told I could be very difficult to work for because I have a high standard of service.
And don't ever drop that standard, Adam. So yeah. Well, was there anything you wanted to say before I wrap this up? I know Kanan's probably about to kick me out of here. But was there anything that you wanted to talk about?
No, we just appreciate the time. And like I said, I'll talk about anything all day. Like I said, and the one thing I would say, like you said, give us a call. We'll be more than happy to talk to you about any part of IT in the world.
Yes.
And at least give you some advice, somewhere to start.
Well, I can tell you, I have enjoyed learning from you guys, and I love how y'all have gotten just into this community and loved it and all the things. So I did want to ask you some rapid fire questions. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. So here's one. What causes more problems, artificial intelligence or natural stupidity?
Probably artificial intelligence.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought for sure you were going to say stupidity. Man. All right. What is scarier, a hacker or a printer that suddenly says it is offline?
I deal with a lot of hacking stuff, so I go with a hacker.
Okay. All right. What is the funniest computer problem someone has ever asked you to fix?
Oh, so many.
That you can talk about.
Yeah, funniest one that they ever. Well, we've had the ones where I guess the worst and funniest I can think of is they brought us a laptop and said it had just stopped suddenly working, and you could smell the alcohol pouring off this thing. And when we opened it, a whole cup of wine poured out of it.
What?
And they couldn't understand what happened and why it stopped working. I'm like, well, probably the glass of wine inside of it is probably the issue.
I guess your computer's just drunk. I don't know.
That's probably the one of the ones I will not forget. Yeah.
So see, that's where I thought you would definitely say natural stupidity, so.
That would go with natural.
Yeah. Well, Adam, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate the time, and I can't wait to have you back on here, because I know some things are going to change and y'all are going to add too, and we'll have to get back on here and ask some more questions.
For sure. Thanks for having us.
Yes. All right, guys, you have caught episode 110 of the Getting in Your Business podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe, and call Adam down at Coastal Computer Consulting today.